What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the electric guitar? Maybe Pete Townshend's windmill strums, or Jimi Hendrix burning his guitar at Monterey Pop. How about ZZ Top's famous spinning fur guitars? The electric guitar is everywhere in pop culture, changing the face of music, voicing dissent, sparking cultural revolutions, and spawning dozens of new music genres. But even before all that, the electric guitar was the solution to a problem. And these are some of the problem-busting innovators who moved the guitar from the rhythm section to leading the band. The journey started in the late 1800s, around when Thomas Edison was perfecting the incandescent light bulb. In 1890, U.S. Navy officer George Breed created a solution seeking a problem. He submitted the first known patent for an electric fretted stringed instrument. Instead of strumming the metal strings, you pressed them into the fret. A circuit was made, which caused the strings to vibrate, creating never-ending sustain. Well, as long as the batteries lasted. In the early decades of the 20th century, big band music was popular. Try playing your acoustic guitar over a trumpet. Guitarists were determined to amplify their instrument, but they kept running up against feedback caused by the vibrations of the guitar's hollow body. Soon enough, inventors like Les Paul, Leo Fender, and O.W. Appleton found the solution. Make a solid body. In 1931, Hawaiian music, featuring the lap steel guitar, was all the rage. Lap steel player George Beecham and guitar designer Paul Barth made a pickup from 2 horseshoe magnets, a coil, and 6 pole pieces. A pickup turned string vibrations into electrical signals. They attached it to a solid-body lap steel guitar and started selling the Rickenbacker A22 Electro Hawaiian in 1932. Nicknamed the frying pan because of its shape, it's made of cast aluminum, which allows the strings to vibrate for an extended period. It has great sustain and a warm tone. That same year, 1932, Rickenbacker and Beecham released an electric Spanish guitar with a semi-hollow body. Dubbed the Ropat-In, its pickup was strings-driven. Gage Brewer debuted the Ropat-In in Wichita, Kansas, in what's believed to be the first publicly promoted performance featuring an electric guitar. A newspaper announcement made the audacious claim that the guitar would open up a new field in musical instruments. It was right. The electric guitar evolved quickly through the 30s. Lloyd Loar created one with a telephone transducer for a pickup. Check out his story in the Celebrity Guitars section of the museum. In 1936, Gibson released the ES-150, which had tone and volume knobs. Legendary jazz and bebop guitarist Charlie Christian made it famous. Its bar pickup, or Charlie Christian pickup, was so well engineered that versions are still manufactured today. Then came 1943, the year an icon was invented. Leo Fender owned a radio repair shop in Fullerton, California. He started creating pickups and amplifiers and needed a test instrument. So he and his partner, Doc Kaufman, mocked up a crude, wooden, solid-body guitar. Surprisingly, local players loved its bright sustain and volume. They borrowed it for gigs. Fender saw an opportunity. He built a better prototype with a bolt-on neck, solid pine body, and plastic parts. It was easy to play, affordable, and best of all, louder without the feedback. It had some rough edges, but the DNA to become a legend. And that's what happened in 1950. After a few tweaks, like adding Fender's signature swooping 6-on-a-side headstock, the newly minted Fender Electric Instruments Company released the Esquire with a single pickup and the Broadcaster with 2 pickups. Then there's the No-caster. Funny name, funny story. After the Broadcaster came out, Fender found itself in a trademark conflict with the Fred Gretsch Manufacturing Company, whose Broadcaster drum kit was already on the market. Leo Fender, known to want to save a penny, just cut the Broadcaster label off his guitars, leading to a limited run of nameless guitars, now called No-casters. Fewer than 500 of these may exist. The No-caster needed a name. Televisions were starting to sell like hotcakes, so how about Telecaster? This instrument would become one of the most successful mass-produced electric guitars in history. The 50s weren't finished producing icons. In '52, Gibson entered the solid body market after rejecting earlier opportunities. In the early 40s, both O.W. Appleton and Les Paul brought Gibson solid body designs. Paul's, which was called the Log, was mainly a Gibson neck and a 4x4 piece of pine. It had no feedback and good tone, but Gibson likened it to a broomstick with pickups and declined. When Fender had success with solid body guitars, Gibson did an about-face and launched the Gibson Les Paul, a high-end instrument that fit with the company's fabled acoustic guitar line. Its standard finish was gold. It's called a gold top. Quite the journey from a 4x4. Before the early 50s were done, another soon-to-be icon came on scene, the Fender Stratocaster. Launched in 1954, the Strat was the first solid-body guitar with 3 pickups. Players could select a pickup with a 3-way switch, later changed to a 5-way switch, allowing for stops in between for unique sounds. In the mid-50s, rock and roll would sweep the nation. It had developed hand in hand with electric guitars, and music would never be the same.